What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten back at it again. What? I just like put my hand here automatically and I just realized that there's just like an empty chair here. I don't even have like internet bay here to fill this chair. We'll just pretend that someone's here. We'll Photoshop somebody in. Maybe it'll be a hot chick, I don't know. And then you get 2 hot chicks in one video. What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, and we are here to watch not safe for work things that people were actually looking at / doing at work. I'm ready to see this. I personally have never seen anybody do anything super not safe for work, but I have been in like a college class where people have laptops and are looking at their Tumblrs, and then people will just be scrolling through their Tumblr and it'll be tame as fuck, and then bam, it's a dick. It's people is me. I'm people. It wasn't on purpose. That's not what I didn't think anybody I followed put dicks on their Tumblr, and then they did, and I was just like, this is just my life now. Everyone behind me can see that there's a giant dick on my screen, and it was awful. It was terrible. That was in school, not at work. So I'm excited to see these ones. In a 3, in a 2, in a 1. Play, you son of a bitch.
r/ask Reddit. What's the most NSFW thing you've seen happen in a workplace? A male client jumped on me and started licking me everywhere. I work at a vet though, so it's okay. Once I caught one of the cleaning ladies getting banged by our barman in a refrigerated cell. They were both naked and going at it while under 0 degrees Celsius. A well-qualified female was promoted to be a line supervisor at a manufacturing facility I worked at years ago. One of the men on the line was rather upset that he'd have to be reporting to a woman. When the newly promoted line supervisor was making her first review inspection of the line, he dropped his pants and underpants and waved his dick at her in
What? Why? What?
defiance. Her first administrative act as supervisor was to terminate his employment.
Right. What, sir? What did you think was going to happen when you flashed your penis at your supervisor? Like, what? What about being like overlooked by or for a woman or whatever is like, yeah, I'm ready to lose my job today. Like, and I can sue you for sexual harassment. Now you have to register as a sex offender, nigga. Like, you think with your big head, not your little head. Fuck.
I walked into the office kitchen and had a female work colleague take off her top and asked me what I thought of her breasts. I was a bit blindsided by this and said, I've only come for a cup of tea. I can like almost guarantee that this nigga was British. This girl is young enough to be my daughter. A few days later, she came into my office, wiggled her bum at me and asked me what I thought of her bum. That girl just doesn't take a hint. Obviously she just needs to dress up as a teabag because that's all you'll come for.
Ha. First of all, ha to that joke. Second of all, this sounds like somebody's wishful thinking, and good on you, mate. Good on you. Australian skittens come to play, because I don't have a British accent apparently. This is the extent of my British accent. It's not British at all. Let's just play the video.
Worked in an emergency room, and I can tell you that a good number of the nurses and paramedics were having affairs and just having rampant sex with each other. I remember one specific time walking by a patient room and just hearing X sounds. A few minutes later, a disheveled nurse and firefighter came strolling back to the nurses' station. A different type of NSFW. One of the physicians was busted for having alcohol in his big gulp while working.
What?
Another time we discovered one nurse in the bathroom half passed out with a needle in her arm. County hospitals are awesome. We had a girl give her boyfriend, who was fully cafed, a handy. His heart rate went up, and when the nurse went in to check on him, she got quite the surprise. We had a row of 10 or so porta potties that started swaying uncontrollably. Turns out a couple decided that a porta potty is a discreet place to hook up. I worked in a cemetery for years.
A porta potty? That is so... Make sure I get the lipstick off my teeth. That is so gross. That is disgusting. A porta potty. What if while you were having sex the freaking porta potty fell over? Ew. Oh god, I can't.
I remember one of the funeral directors was banging a receptionist, and one night she met him out in the wall crypts and the security guard caught them with my homie's pants down. NSFW and hilarious. Side note, he was engaged to somebody else who worked there. The fireworks were legendary. Do tell. He bribed the security guard not to tell, but his GF eventually found out. She wasn't really big on self-esteem and forgave him. But one day the receptionist said good morning to her and the GF basically told her in the middle of the lobby, "Itch, don't you ever look at me in my ducking eyes or I'll RIP yours out." Once I walked in on one of my patients having a—
Bitch, don't look me in my face, you dirty ass, hoe ass, whack ass bitch. Bitch.
sex with her boyfriend. She had given birth, vaginally, 6 hours earlier. Worked at a place that had a boardroom that overlooked the factory. The boardroom windows were covered in mirror vinyl, and usually it's brighter in the factory than the boardroom, so you can't see in from the factory. After work it's getting dark, so the lights in the boardroom are brighter than the factory, so the effect is reversed and you can see everything in the boardroom from the factory but can't see the factory from inside the boardroom. That's when the CEO walks into the boardroom and ducks a receptionist on the boardroom table with a whole bunch of factory workers watching. This is great. Did anyone cheer or clap? We caught a 60-year-old rich, married, white lady blowing a homeless guy in our bathroom during Fantasy Fest while her husband waited outside. In her defense, I don't think she knew he was homeless. I managed a bar 2 years ago. I had this girl that bartended for me who would go missing on camera all the time. I had them cameras everywhere inside. She'd just disappear for half an hour at a time. I investigated. I was pretty close with a lot of the regulars. Small, family-owned place in a suburb. And came to find out that she had been UHH, offering X for money, soliciting X from behind my bar.
Bitch!
She was gone shortly thereafter. I couldn't fire her for something that I couldn't prove. I ended up letting her go for neglecting to fulfill her duties as a bartender. She was written up for multiple occasions of leaving the bar customers unattended, and that was enough to get her the hell out. I don't know if that could somehow fall back on me or the bar, but I was not interested in finding out.
That's
Friend
awful.
was a plumber. He was installing a water heater in the roof with his assistant. He was in the roof and the assistant was fetching him tools and passing them up the ladder. After a while he asked his assistant for something and realized he wasn't there. So he climbed down the ladder to see where he was. Found him ducking the homeowner's maid on the kitchen table. They'd just met about 1 hour earlier.
Is this porn? Is this, like, this can't be real life. This does, why are you guys just going and having sex with people you don't know? I don't understand.
Walked in on my boss boning the HR director. Just met about 1 hour earlier. Walked in on my boss boning the HR director in his office. My next review and raise were the best I ever had. I'm reporting this to HR. Whispers in HR director's ear mid-coitus, you're having X with the boss. I'm a teacher, and one day walking past the headmaster office I heard some very distinctive moans. Well, if they're the headmaster it's bound to be good. A guy was watching on his laptop during anti-sexual harassment training. Work in a hospital. Had a patient come in for vaginal pain. Worked her up and positioned her in the stirrups so the doctor could come in and do a quick pelvic exam. Right after I did that, a critical patient came in that required the doc's attention for a while. After about 20 minutes I went back into the pelvic exam patient's room to apologize for the wait and put the stirrups back down so she could lay normally until the doctor had time to examine her. I walked into her boyfriend on his knees in front of her eating her out, asked him what the hell he was doing, and he told me he just couldn't resist with her in that position. I escorted him to the waiting room and told security he wasn't allowed back in. Turns out she had chlamydia. Shocker. I walked in on 2 co-workers having X. The guy just said, "Hey, what's up?" like it was nothing. Sadly it didn't work out for them. He pulled a gun on her in the parking lot a few months later.
Excuse me? I don't have words.
Honorable mention to the time I caught an employee getting fingered by a customer in a stairwell. Guy took a hit from a 100 feet lattice tower. When you hear laying hot asphalt from a lineman, you scatter LOL, aka the sky dump. I worked at a Nissan dealership located at a busy intersection in my city back in the early 2000s. One of the younger car salesmen was trying to sell a new car to a woman who looked to be in her 40s. It was going well. They were working on closing the deal. So I take a break and walk to the back car lot for a smoke to find the salesman wedged between two cars amongst a row of cars with the woman he was selling a car to on her knees giving him a blowjob. I was in complete shock. She never stopped and he just smiled and gave me a thumbs up. I am a 36-year-old female and still think of this one often enough. Ugh. Did he finish the sell? And if so, did he get a big cut for finishing it? At my gym, a hired trainer ran out of the bathroom butt naked, dick in hand, stroking and screaming at the top of his lungs. He blew the most ridiculous sized load I've ever seen on the preacher curl machine, then fell over and passed out. The police and paramedics had to be called, and after they took the guy and did what they needed to do with the scene, the gym manager had to clean up the massive load off the machine. I skipped my class and just hung out there because I wanted to see how it all played out. A woman.
Okay, but why? We don't get a reason why he was.
I worked with could be a little restless. We worked evenings and were relatively unsupervised. She occasionally would do exercises to burn off energy. She did a handstand against the wall once and her titty popped out. I don't think she knew I saw, but I saw. I saw your titty D. He went up to a couple in the bar I was covering to ask if they wanted a picture. Woman is short of breath and the guy just says no. I ask the woman if she's okay and she nods and I walk off. I look back and see the guy furiously fingering her under the table. Chick I worked with showed us her boobs. That was pretty nice of her. A hot little 4 feet 6 inches tall girl I worked with used to take her tits out to show off her nipple rings.
Okay, this went from being funny to just being really uncomfortable.
A bonding day for the entire production staff. It's basically 4-6 hours at a hotel with access to the pool, gym, sports fields and a few organized activities that are aimed to raise morale. Now you're not supposed to bring alcohol. In fact, it's technically forbidden. But as long as you're not a complete moron, the management look the other way. Walk into a toilet to see 1 woman and 3 guys going at it. It was definitely consensual. I wasn't the first to see it and wasn't the last. Too drunk to realize that they should probably lock the door at least. Management looked the other way.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this video. This video is... I don't know what I thought I was gonna... I thought it was gonna be. I think I thought it was gonna be more like, oops, like he accidentally had porn on his computer, and less like they were fucking, and I'm so uncomfortable right now. Poop. I thought there would be more poop and pee. There was not. There was like very little poop in this video. The only time I've ever been disappointed that there's no poop in a video. I'm done. Peace out. Hope it's skittin' lit.